fall season. I hope you're all curled up in your comfiest sweater with a candle lit that smells like cinnamon and ambitions. And you got yourself something boozy, maybe warm, maybe not. Some mulled wine or something spiced with like Fireball or something cinnamon.
I'm going to start doing the Homer Simpson thing whenever he starts drooling. They're like, I can't.
Yeah, exactly. Like drooling
I can't
over
do
donuts.
It. But we all know the sound. Yeah. If you grew up in the United States, you know that sound.
Yes. But it is. It's time to be cozy and settle in because it's time for another episode of Whining About Herstory, the Women's History Podcast, where we're going to talk about women that history conveniently forgot to mention in our textbooks and drink a bunch of wine while doing it because it's cold up here in these northern states and we need the wine to fortify us. I'm Kelly.
I'm Emily. And was it a coincidence or was it a conspiracy that the women were left out? Definitely a conspiracy.
Yeah, definitely a conspiracy.
It's so funny because people reach so far for conspiracies, but then I'm like...
It's like we don't even need to reach that far, guys.
No. Like so much of the stuff is proven. It's like, oh, well... birds aren't real and they're like
just drones.
Drones and surveillance and this is how you know and blah blah blah, or we didn't actually land on the moon. I'm
but
like,
we didn't erase LGBTQIA people from our textbooks.
Yeah,
we didn't do that.
No, they didn't exist until 2015. Yeah. No, it's so funny because it's just like, okay, I see how far you can reach. You're obviously very flexible. Now, what if I pose this to you?
Yeah. And then they're like super rigid about it.
The society we currently live in is based on the subjugation of people of color and women and prioritizes white, wealthy men.
Yep.
Whoa. It's like, okay, sorry. I didn't realize that was the line. It's surveillance birds. And then that's the line.
Yeah.
Okay. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Right. Surveillance birds make sense. Women and other minorities being repressed, not logical. Not at all.
I wonder if we told them that surveillance birds were funded by like Mark Zuckerberg and
they
Jeff
would believe
Bezos.
it. They would 100%.
Then they would be like, oh yeah, it's like, and along with creating surveillance birds, they're also contributing to all this other stuff. It's like you just have to kind of get them half
like
there
a little bit at a time.
It's just like get them right over the hump and then they just go down.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, Kelly, what are you drinking today?
What are we drinking?
Oh yeah. As if I'm not a part of this. As if I'm not going to drink
the shit out of this.
Yes, because I'm very excited.
So we are drinking It's a wine called Mimic, and this one is Blaze, and it's very pretty. It has like the sun on it, and it has two faces that are like facing opposite directions. And this is a whiskey barrel aged red blend. We got it specifically because it was whiskey barrel aged, because we've had other Mimic wine before. So it says, this exquisite red blend has been partially aged in seasoned whiskey oak barrels, infusing delicate hints of vanilla, spice, and caramel. These subtle nuances complement the wine's natural evolution, enhancing its character, complexity, and depth.
Insert Homer Simpson donut drool.
I'm proud of this wine.
Sounds amazing.
For actually using a bunch of things I want to taste.
Yeah.
Instead of like leather and tobacco.
It tastes like tobacco chewed and spit by the first baseman on a second-rate team. And he has a knee injury, but he's hiding it because he doesn't want to be benched. Yeah. That's what it tastes like. It's like, stop.
It's like very specific.
It's like, just write a book about the baseball players. Stop trying to like put his story into the wine.
Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Not like us.
Oh, we're exactly the right amount.
Exactly.
For the people who choose to listen to this. Yeah. For everyone else, choke on it. Cheers.
Cheers. To being exactly the right amount.
Fuck yeah. We're not snacks. We're full course meals.
Ooh.
Also, we have a bit of a different setup in the pod studio. Instead of
maybe we'll share the picture of my dogs checking it out.
Oh my God, yes, they're so cute. But instead of sitting on the haunted desk that rises and falls at will,
as it is wont to do by
as
itself.
we have done for 6 years.
Yeah.
We finally
We got cozy.
we got fucking chairs, y'all.
We're gonna have to put some blankets in here.
Oh, no. I've already started thinking. I've got a bunch of blankets at home, and I'm like, okay, but what are going to look like really good on camera, or which are just like cozy?
My feet are cold.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
the wine will work its way down there.
I did bring the cute pillows. So I just want to thank.
I got the chairs into the studio.
I want to thank everyone who made these chairs possible. Tim, who actually responded to our Facebook Marketplace message.
We appreciate it.
There were so many people where we reached out about like lounge chairs on Facebook Marketplace and never heard a thing.
And we intentionally made sure to because you can Facebook now is like a generic message you can send that's just like, is this available?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we did not do that. We don't
do that. We change it and we're like, hey, like let us know the dimensions or da-da-da-da-da. So like people know we're not just like a bot. And yeah, so many times just no one responded.
It was very frustrating. So thank you to Tim. Thank you to Egg for helping us load them into the truck. Thank you to Bev and Andrew for lending us the truck.
I was gonna say thank you to Tim's dog, who was a great support person.
Lexi is perfection. Yeah. But yeah, Andrew is actually a new listener. When we returned the truck, I was telling him about the podcast, and particularly he's a cardiac pathologist.
Oh, damn.
So very fancy, very cool, very spooky. And I was like, I think you would really enjoy our layman take on Anne Belansky and the shit-tastic autopsy of something that may have resembled arsenic, twice removed and divorced and
just a hint of arsenic, maybe.
And arsenic was probably not done here, but he listened to it and he seemed to really enjoy it. Nice. So so thank you to Bev and Andrew. And then Bev is the one we got these pillows from because she's got great taste and she gets rid of stuff. And I was like, oh my fucking God.
To Justin / our tech person for bleeding on the chairs when he helped me move them into the room.
Hey, I don't want a chair that someone has not bled on.
Yeah.
Is it even a chair at that point?
It's not a worthy chair.
It's not a worthy chair.
But yeah,
we're women. We bleed on fucking everything. That's what I spent
my Friday day doing, is disassembling and rearranging our studio.
It looks fantastic, and it's just going to get cuter.
Yeah. I'm excited.
These chairs, they're like deep, like squares.
Yeah.
And like I'm just the coziest right now, and it's amazing. But we have to kind of like figure out our new like situation groove. Like, oh wait, I have to like really reach to cheers with you.
Yeah. But it's nice.
Yeah. So cheers to chairs and cheers to people choking on it.
Yeah. So Emily, who are you whining about?
So because Veterans Day is the day
Tuesday.
After this comes out.
Yep.
I decided to celebrate a veteran who deserves a lot more attention and appreciation, especially because some people are trying to pretend that her and people like her don't exist or should not serve in the military.
That's bullshit.
Yep. So the only people who shouldn't serve in the military are like
psychopath
rapists,
killers,
murderers,
and like people physically unable to do so.
Yeah, and also the people who are like sexually assaulting all the women in the military, because that's a huge issue. They shouldn't be in the military anymore either. Like just shut that down. So today I'm whining about Monica Helms, More Than Just a Flag.
Oh,
I did not come up with that title. It's she wrote a book, so.
Oh, well,
here's the thing. Before you're too in awe, let me just completely undercut what I just said and like actively deny credit.
Okay.
So, it's no secret that Trump does not approve of trans people in the military. During both of his terms, he has tried to ban trans people via Twitter and executive order. Trans people in the military are currently under attack, being denied benefits that they have earned and preventing trans people from enlisting. Claiming that he is trying to uphold quote unquote military excellence through this ban, it's interesting to note that Trump has never served in the military. He was exempted from service during the Vietnam War due to alleged bone spurs.
Ooh.
A lot of speculation has been made as to whether or not the bone spurs were legitimate. surprising from a man who claims to be in peak physical and mental form, but he couldn't serve in the military because of bones. Like, whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But whether or not they're real, I think the point is that Trump himself was rejected from military service. Like, if the bone spurs are real, if that's legitimate, which I don't think they are, he was rejected for not meeting the standards of military excellence, and therefore is probably not an authority on what military excellence looks like.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with not serving in the military. Yeah. I don't want it. It's not my jam.
We don't have to be drafted because we're women.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be, I guess, I don't know if they've removed this, but at least from the last time I looked, I couldn't be drafted because I have flat feet. And I'm like, I'm okay with that.
That is wild. We actually just learned on the San Francisco trip that all men, when they turn 18.
Oh, no, I knew that. It was so weird because Emily didn't know that. And I was like, yeah, all men when they turn 18 have to register. It's because they don't draft anymore. That is their version of a draft now.
Yeah, I never knew that. So if anyone else is like, what?
Maybe it's because I grew up with a brother.
I think that's it. I'm an only child and I'm a girl. And my dad was drafted into military service. Lucky for him, he did not have to serve overseas. But he did his service. He did his time. He did his duty. But yeah, I don't know. It was just like not something I was aware of. But yeah, when you turn 18, if you want to benefit from, is it financial aid?
Yes.
Or something.
Yeah. Like, if you have to be eligible to fill out like FAFSAs and stuff.
Yeah. You have to register for the draft. And we saw some signs in San Francisco when we were traveling around that was like, don't forget, if you're between these ages and a guy, you have to do this. And I was like, is this a San Francisco thing? What's going on, you guys? I thought you were so chill. So yeah, that was an interesting conversation. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with choosing not to go into the military, but to come up with a bullshit excuse and then still rail like you're the expert.
That's exactly it. Like, I wouldn't be found fit either, but I'm not over here being like, I know what military excellence is. And I'm like, no,
you're not over here being like, I can fly a plane.
No, I do not have 20/20 vision.
God damn it. So when DC Circuit Court Judge Anna C. Reyes ruled that the most recent executive order was unconstitutional and issued an injunction to stop it, Secretary of Defense, now War, because they changed the name to the Department of War. Okay. An alleged rapist posted on X sarcastically referring to her as a top military planner and calling her she, they in reference to Judge Reyes being openly LGBTQ. Not trans, not non-binary, just queer. Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
So anyway, yeah, Pete Hegseth, fucking absolute loser. This is what happens to that bully who peaked in high school and is just like so desperate to prove to everyone he's like still the biggest, baddest thing on the block.
Oh yeah.
But it just becomes increasingly more cringy because it's like, dude, you're trying way too hard and it's not working.
Yeah. Like, this is not a good look, dude.
Also, you paid women who accused you of raping them. You paid them off. So, maybe just like shut the fuck up and sit down. So the fact is that trans people have always served in the military and will continue to do so. One of the most famous trans women, Christine Jorgensen, who we covered in episode 15, was a veteran. She was actually one of the early examples of gender affirming, receiving gender affirming surgery. So to celebrate Veterans Day, I wanted to highlight a trans veteran who not only nobly served, but also created an iconic flag that pisses off all the right people. This story truly, it just came together in such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Monica Helms was born on March 8th, 1951, love a Pisces, in Sumter, South Carolina.
You do love a Pisces.
I do love a Pisces. I started a podcast with a Pisces. Her family moved to Arizona, and Monica recalled from an early age feeling that she was a girl. Quote, I didn't start to feel like a woman at a certain age. I started to feel like a girl, she recalled. I was 5 years old growing up in Arizona, and I prayed to God to turn me into a girl. What does a child in 1956 who's 5 years old and can't read know about being a different gender? And I feel like this is an important point for two reasons. One, a lack of representation and understanding made Monica feel isolated and wrong in her own body. Two, you can't argue that she saw a drag queen or a trans person,
right,
or like two men hugging on TV, or read a book about a penguin having two dads and was converted or influenced by them. There was no representation for a 5-year-old in the 1950s they could be influenced by. And yet she felt this way. Growing up Catholic, Monica only knew that you pray to God for things you want and he's supposed to give it to you. I very much remember being a young Catholic and believing wholeheartedly in the power of prayer as like I'm going to submit my request and in 3 to 5 days, God will give me a puppy.
That would be awesome.
I mean... but as Monica said, it wasn't an overnight or same day delivery because it took 41 years. Monica enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1970, where she worked as a nuclear trained machinist mate. She recalled, quote, I worked on the mechanical stuff dealing with the submarine's reactor, pumps, turbines, steam pipes, air conditioning. And honestly, serving on a submarine would be my absolute last choice because the idea of working in a tin can miles below the surface where if one little thing goes wrong, you are all certainly dead. And it's not quick. You drown. You like sink to the bottom of the ocean and drown.
Yeah.
Or run out of air. It's just, that's too horrifying for me. But adding nuclear technology on top of that, abso-fucking-lutely not.
Yeah.
But
no, I would nope out of that so fucking fast.
But that's how Monica fucking rolled. And also, if no one is clear at this point in the story, Monica was assigned male at birth and is presenting as a man throughout this part of the story.
Okay.
So, if you're surprised that a woman is serving on a nuclear sub in the 1970s, that's why. So we've talked in previous episodes about how hostile the military has been to LGBTQ plus folks. Go check out episode 229 to hear more about Sergeant Helen Godvin's experience hiding her sexuality while serving in the Air Force. That was the woman where we heard from her daughter about how she had to lie about her home situation, and they tried to get her to turn on other people that they thought were queer, and it was just absolutely sickening. So it shouldn't be surprising that Monica presenting as a woman would have had severe consequences. However, it's also hard to deny who you are. As Monica recalled, the scariest moment was in Vallejo, California, when I got transferred to the USS Flasher. She was alone in her room and, quote, I thought it would be cool to put on a bra and panties. I did. And then I heard a knock. Do you ever just stand in the mirror and you're like, man, I am looking good. Like this bra is cute. These undies are cute.
Yeah.
Like
and you're just feeling yourself.
You're feeling yourself. And it's just for you. It's not for anyone else. It's just for you. And it's such a nice feeling. And then she hears a knock, which, oh my God, I would die. I heard a key going in the lock and I jumped in my bed and pretended I was sleeping. It was the submarine's executive officer and chief of the boat. They saw that I was sleeping and left. I was beyond scared.
I was to say, that had to be a huge, sigh of relief that they just, left and weren't get out of your bed,
Yeah, how quick can you put on your uniform? It's can you turn around, though? If she had been caught, Monica could have been dishonorably discharged without benefits, outed to her family, or even faced violence.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Quote, all during that time from childhood and during my time in the Navy, I never had anyone to confide in or tell.
Aww.
Despite the danger, Monica began experimenting more with dressing as a woman during her time in the Navy, calling it her deepest, darkest secret, which is just so tragic to think about. In 1976, she was reassigned to San Francisco. What's up, y'all? Love you. Where she, quote, felt like I could be out in public as myself.
Aww.
And I have to say, it was something that I don't think fully hit me until a little longer into the trip. But yeah, just how open
Yeah.
and accepting and weird in all the best ways San Francisco was. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen any Confederate flags. I haven't seen any Trump signs. I haven't seen any fucking Nazis I know of. Like, everyone is just feeling themselves, being decent to each other, and like it was so nice. And then there was the guy in the park, but you know, he was definitely feeling himself.
Yeah,
dude dancing in briefs in the park. He did have some great moves. And I will also say that dude was as tan as a leather purse, but was obviously keeping fit for his age. I'm like, all right, sir, I respect that, but also please do not ask us if we believe in science.
Yeah, that was really weird. Just like on his way out, he was like,
walked out. We were so far away from him too. Like, it's not like we were sitting next to him while he was dancing. We were so far away. There is absolutely no reason he should have come up to us. But like, as he's leaving the park, he comes right up to us. He's like, do you guys believe in science? And I'm like, I'm so mad at you right now because I can't say no and dismiss you because that's insane. But if I say yes, I'm engaging with you, which I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But that was the weirdest thing that happened to us in San Francisco. And it really wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was not bad. So, so she's in San Francisco. She's feeling herself. Monica retired from the Navy in 1978. Her secret intact.
Hell yeah.
That same year, Monica met her first trans woman and learned what being trans was and that her feelings were not unique.
Aww.
However, she also learned that living as an out trans woman was not easy. Quote, it was terrible to see how she had to live. She couldn't get a job. She couldn't get her driver's license changed. She had to get hormones the best way she could. So that kind of put a scare in me. I mean, again, I think that's a testament to how transitioning is a very personal thing for every person. It does not look the same for every person. And also, no one is just like, I'm going to do this for funsies. Like, it's a whole deal. Okay. No one's like, I really want to sneak into the women's bathroom.
Yeah.
So I'm going to undergo years of hormone therapy and surgery.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry. I have seen creeps not give a fuck about anything. If a dude wants to follow a woman into the bathroom, you know what he's going to do?
He's going to do it.
He's just going to fucking do it.
Yeah.
God. Anyway.
That's what creeps do.
Yeah. They don't give a shit. And they're definitely not going to undergo years of hormone therapy to like try and get like, you guys. So in the 1980s, while watching TV, Monica saw a group of heterosexual cross-dressers, which of course they do it. I know you know this, but they exist. Straight men can cross-dress and straight women can cross-dress. And it doesn't mean anything about their sexuality.
Nope.
You know, honestly, dressing like a dude and like looking kind of hot and like got my suspenders. I dig it. So she wrote to them and met up with the group. Quote, that was my first introduction to the trans community of sorts. At this time, Monica was still discovering her identity. Remember, there isn't a lot of representation or access to educational materials to help people put words to their feelings. Quote,
no.
Yeah. I mean, imagine, I remember when I learned the word demisexual and everything clicked.
Yeah.
And it was like finally solving the combination on my locker, you know, where you just like, you turn the thing and it clicks and you're like, yes, this feels right. I can't imagine doing that without the internet. Yeah. I would probably still have no idea if I did not have access to the internet.
Yeah.
Quote, I thought I was a heterosexual cross-dresser, she explained. I was married and I liked women. So she's like, I like dressing as a woman. I also am in love with a woman. So I must be a straight cross-dresser. Each year, Monica and a group of her cross-dressing friends would take a weekend trip to a different city, what they called Holiday in Femme.
I Love that.
I love the idea, like you and me as cisgendered women, I love the idea of us taking a trip and just girling it the fuck up. Like glam. Like super femme. I think that would be fun. So during a trip, one of her friends confided in her that she was starting to transition and why. Quote, I recognized all the same reasons in my head. She put together the puzzle and I realized I needed to do the same. Monica began taking hormones in 1992. In 1997, she began living full-time as a woman. Monica's transition was not easy, especially when it came to her personal relationships. Her marriage ended. Her mother disowned her. She wasn't allowed to see her father, who was sick with diabetes and Alzheimer's. She also struggled with her relationship with her children, who were 13 and 15 when she began transitioning. In 2000, Monica moved to Atlanta, Georgia, which she called, quote, one of the best and worst decisions in my life. The bad, she wasn't nearby her father when he passed away in Phoenix. She missed her children graduating from high school and watching her oldest enlist in the Army. The good, quote, I was close to DC so I could travel to advocate for trans people. And of course, I met Darlene.
Oh.
Darlene had worked for the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention before being laid off by Doge. Dodge. I always said Doge because I was like, this is the stupidest shit in the world.
Yeah, I always said
but
Doge,
Elon
too.
Musk's like not actual department.
Yep.
Yeah. Before he and Trump had their messy little breakup. So she was laid off from the CDC in 2025. Yeah. Which I'm like, oh, honey. So she was working for the CDC during COVID, like doing the fucking Lord's work.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, this woman. So the pair met at a contra dance, and I had to look that up. It's basically the love child of square dancing and line dancing. Oh. So it's kind of like couple line dancing with like some square dance, you know? It's, yeah. I think it's like a Southern thing. And 6 months later, they moved in together, which I'm like, I know this is a stereotype that lesbians move in together really quickly, but if Monica didn't already realize she was a lesbian, that had to be. She was like, oh, yeah, okay, here it is. The pair married and are still together. Aww. Love it. When asked what her favorite thing about Darlene was, Monica said, and this is out of everything Monica has done, this is like what I love her the most for. She said, what I love most about Darlene is her butt. Which I'm like, when you love someone and you're asked about, that is how you, like, that's it. And then she goes on to say, but I'll give you a real answer. She's a very wonderful, sensitive person that loves me as much as I love her. We go to bed every night saying, I love you. We wake up every morning saying, I love you. Sometimes when I have to get up and go to the bathroom, when I come back, she reaches over and gives me a kiss.
Oh,
and she's got a rockin' ass. That's
what everyone wants.
Monica, I also appreciate a good ass. Working as a trans advocate, Monica met many other LGBTQ plus trailblazers of her time, including Michael Page, the creator of the bisexual pride flag.
Aw. Yay.
Mikey Page for the win. In 1999, while the pair were having dinner one day, Michael said, you know, the trans community could use a flag. Monica replied, well, okay. As one does when someone is like tasks in the most nonchalant way, when someone tasks you with creating a flag to identify pride and acceptance in something that you have struggled your whole life to understand and grow into. Well, okay. So a week later, 3 weeks later, the idea hit her. Quote, I got up and drew the flag out on a piece of paper. A week later, I had the first transgender flag, and I took it everywhere. The first place I took it to was Phoenix Pride in 2000, and people were asking, what is that? So I told them what the colors meant. Light blue is a traditional color for for baby boys. Pink is the traditional color for baby girls. And then white is for all people who are transitioning or non-binary, those who have nothing to do with the binary system. And actually, I always thought it was just because the colors like fit together so well. It makes sense that it's a light pink and a light blue.
Yeah.
Because when you're a babe, like that's when it starts. That's when the binary programming starts, you know? And it's like, I was born as a female. I identify as a woman. I feel very comfortable in my body, you know? But there are so many expectations that come with being a woman. And it, like, I mean, it even starts before you pop out, you know, with like the sex reveal parties and all that.
Yeah.
Like, so I thought that was real. I didn't ever really think about it that way. And I thought it was very sweet.
Yeah, I like that.
The trans pride flag has gone to become a symbol as associated with the LGBTQ plus community as the rainbow flag. It is included in the Progress Pride flag, and as trans folks increasingly come under attack, an important symbol of identity, safety, allyship, and validation. According to a 2025 study by UCLA, approximately 2.8 million people 13 and older in the United States are trans. Now that's a lot of people. Do not get me wrong. But that accounts for about 1% of the population. Because the US is fucking massive. Sometimes I forget how big it is until I hear 2.8 million people are like barely a percent of our population. Those numbers and percentages only get smaller when you're talking about more segmented groups such as high school athletes and veterans and people serving in the military. So why the fuck is there so much energy and money being put into demonizing 1% of the population who don't even control 99% of the wealth? Right? Okay? Well, they're an easy scapegoat. Education about trans people, what it can mean to be trans, and even just the difference between sex and gender, and they're all so woefully misunderstood that it's really easy to lie to people and put fear into people about doctors wantonly castrating kids, which, in case anyone's uncle this Thanksgiving starts talking about that, is not happening. Also, sex and gender are different. Gender is a social construct, is what you feel. Sex is your biology, is what is physically present in your body, and is not defined by your genitals only. Those are sex characteristics.
Yep.
Your chromosomes, your hormones. There is so much fucking shit that goes into biological sex. Also, if you cut off someone's penis, are they no longer a man? Seriously, fuck off entirely. Like, it doesn't make sense, and it was never meant to make sense. In addition, subjugating and controlling a population is much easier when everyone fits into clearly defined boxes. Trans and non-binary folks defy that idea. Their existence demonstrates the diversity inherent in the human species and defies the patriarchal structure that our society is based on. The patriarchal and white supremacist structure.
The bullshit structure.
Yeah, the God fucking damn it structure. There's also, of course, tons of misogyny and racism baked into anti-trans rhetoric. Trans women are much more likely to be physically or sexually assaulted than trans men, and those statistics only get worse for trans women of color. Because in the eyes of the patriarchy, they have committed the ultimate sin in rejecting masculinity, which is superior. And then also, if you think a woman is hot and then you find out she's trans, it makes you question your sexuality because you have such a narrow view and you're so fucking fragile. Anti-trans assholes, because I don't even want to call them transphobes, because I'm like, it's not a phobia, you just suck. Okay?
Right, like, it's not a genuine fear.
It's not like,
which is what a phobia is.
It's not like you have arachnophobia and you're like, hey, I know I recognize spiders' right to exist, but I just really like have I have a pathological fear of them. No, you're just an asshole. You're a bigot. So anti-trans assholes claim that acceptance and representation of trans people will convert children, when in fact it actually leads to less violence against trans youth and lower suicide rates among trans youth. Gender affirming care, which comes in so many different forms, and you do not have to be trans to receive gender affirming care.
Nope.
You know, it can save lives, which
Yep.
is exactly why anti-trans assholes don't want it to be available.
That's why a ton of people moved to Minnesota, because we actually have really good gender affirming care.
Yeah, I think we put it in our constitution. Well,
Yeah.
we also banned conversion therapy.
Oh yeah.
And a bunch of people were mad about that, and I'm just like, they're like, the government's wasting its
You're
time.
an asshole.
I'm like, I'm sorry, you can't say hashtag save the children and then be mad that the government is banning organized child abuse.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
It's horrible.
Hold on,
Don't make me go on that tirade.
Girl, I gotta
'cause
take a sip of my
I could
wine.
go on a fucking tirade.
Well, I need to take a sip of this wine, so go off, sis.
I shouldn't. We'd be here all night. Because I could.
Maybe
It's
that's-
bad.
maybe
trauma.
that's Kelly's-
It's trauma. Don't do it.
I mean, that's Kelly's next herstory happening.
The horrors of yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's funny because I see people who are advocating for gender affirming care and, you know, just advocating for trans people and trans kids getting the support that they need. And they're like, did you know trans youth are like way more likely to, attempt or complete suicide?
Yep.
And every time I hear that, I'm like, that is absolutely true. That's also the point. Because the people who are advocating against that, they're like, good.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like,
they're
yeah,
assholes.
people are taking themselves out. You know, telling someone who does not believe that trans people have the right to live, that by denying gender affirming care, a child is more likely to complete suicide.
Mhm.
They're like,
yeah, that's fine.
problem solved.
Yeah. It's horrible.
So it's one of those arguments. I don't think we should stop talking about it ever, because it is incredibly important, and I'm sure that it does resonate with people. But I'm also like, that's what they want, though.
Exactly.
They love that.
Because then there are, as they would say, less of them around.
Yeah. Well, they can
There should
also
be less of you around, you asshole.
And that it's so funny how the far right doesn't care about mental health until they're like, trans people or people who think they're trans, they're just mentally ill. And it's like, okay, if you think they're mentally ill, here are what experts say helps people.
Actually, we took that out of the DSM for the most part.
First of all, it's out, but also therapists do recommend to help children who are struggling with gender dysphoria and those kinds of things, is to acknowledge their gender presentation and accept them and call them what they want. It's like, no, you can't do that.
That's not right. Yeah,
Fucking Christ. Anti-trans rhetoric hurts cisgendered people too. If I know no one listening to our podcast is this kind of person, but if we have like that one-off who's like, maybe this is a serious history podcast. If you need this,
I really hope that person is not still listening.
I actually hope
or
that
if they are, and I hope they like love it.
I hope they hate listen, and I hope like they're like, I'm trying
They keep bringing me up.
I'm trying to get my personal best in this marathon. I just need a lot of anger to get through it. So I'm going to listen to this not serious history podcast. But in case you're the kind of person who needs something to affect you for you to actually care about it, this affects you too as a cisgendered person. If you don't conform to the strict mold of womanhood or manhood, you may be harassed, denied employment, housing, or physically assaulted.
Jesus.
This year in Owatonna, Minnesota, just a hop, skip, and a jump. Owatonna, as Siri likes to say. Wabasha. It's Wabasha, you bitch. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll be more afraid of AI when Siri can actually pronounce shit.
It is actually pronounced Owatonna.
What?
Because it's a Native American word.
Why does everyone say Owatonna then?
Because they don't know how to pronounce Native American words.
God fucking damn it!
Siri does get Wabasha wrong, though.
She absolutely does. It's not Wabasha.
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 Yeah. There's a few other ones, though, but it is Owatonna.
Okay. So this year in Owatonna, Minnesota, which is not far from us.
No.
A woman was followed into the bathroom by a server at a Buffalo Wild Wings.
B-dubs. I'm so disappointed.
Very disappointed. Also, how dare anyone pervert the joy of just going ape shit on some garlic Parmesan boneless wings.
Fuck yeah.
Remember when we used to get like an absurd amount of wings and then
And we
watch
just
Once
all
Upon
eat
a
them,
Time
yeah.
and we would just get so fucking sick on wings?
Oh, we should do it again.
I have not had B-dubs in so long. I think that was probably one of the last times. But I have
Probably.
very good memories. So the server at B-dubs claimed that the guest, the customer, was a man going into the women's bathroom. The server banged on the door, called her a man, and yelled for her to leave. The victim, Jerika Mudra, had to unzip her sweatshirt to show the server that she had breasts.
That's horrible. That should not have to like happen.
I've had a pixie cut. I have worn really baggy sweatshirts where you cannot tell I have tits. Like this could have been any of us at a certain point. And dudes have long hair too. Me having long hair now does not preclude me from being misgendered. Jerika is not trans. She's a cisgendered woman who, according to this B-dub server, didn't look enough like a woman.
No, he just wanted to see some boobs and he's an asshole.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it was a woman. If I remember correctly, I think the server was... Okay, do not quote me on that.
No, I thought you said he. That's why I thought you said he when you were talking about the server.
No, the server banged on the door, called her a man, and yelled for her to leave. The victims,
Jesus
to
Christ.
show the server. So I don't think I put the server's
That's
gender
still
in here.
horrible, though.
But yeah, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. So that's one of the reasons it's so important to include trans women in women's history. Just like if we were to ignore Black women, Latinx women, etc., disqualifying trans women from history prevents us from understanding the whole beautiful, complex, and messy story of humanity.
Yeah.
And just what is possible in our biology.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fucking shit.
Oh, yeah.
Being a woman has never been one thing or looked one way. Just like being a human has never been one thing.
Yeah.
Have you seen the tree man? He's still a human.
I know. It's just,
Like, I'm just saying.
it's just out of nowhere.
There's so many ways
to be a human.
There's that girl that's got like 8 limbs because she absorbed her twin in utero.
Yeah.
There is not a wrong way to exist as a human. There is a wrong way to behave.
Yeah.
There are a lot of wrong ways to behave. So Monica published her autobiography, More Than Just a Flag, in 2019 and was listed by Queerty, Queerty. I might be saying it wrong. I don't. I'm bad at things. As one of the Pride 50 trailblazing individuals for the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall Uprising. So she was listed as an individual who actively ensured society remains moving towards equality, acceptance, and dignity for all queer people.
Hell yeah.
Thanks, Monica.
You're the bitch in the best way.
Yes. I really love the title of her memoir, and this is just me going off. Okay. But Buck, hold on. I need a sip of wine for this because this was just me. Me in my briefs in the park, just fucking feeling myself, doing some karate moves, doing some gymnastic shit. I'm sorry. I was just like, I can't look away though, except when there were dogs running around. We're like, look at the dogs.
Yeah, we're like, look at the dogs. Back to like a dancing man.
Oh my God. It makes me think of, I don't know if you've seen the episode of It's Always Sunny, but they get really into public access television.
Oh,
and there's
yeah.
a show where a guy's just in his underwear dancing. And it's Dancing Guy. And he's in front of a green screen and the background just keeps changing to absurd shit.
That,
it's like, Dancing Guy. That's what he was. Dancing Guy.
Why not? Except the background was beautiful.
It was real.
Yeah.
It was all real. It was a really beautiful park.
It was.
I really loved it. I also appreciated the people selling booze and weed and shrooms.
Yeah, just like wandering around being like, you want some? And it was like, I don't trust you mixing cocktails out of a wheeled cooler under some tree, random dude.
I'm not gonna lie though.
You were tempted.
Just for the story.
But
we were leaving the next day.
If we weren't leaving the next day, I probably would have been more down for it.
If I could have just been completely ruined, if I could have risked being ruined the next day, I wouldn't have done shrooms. A little bit more worth I would have definitely gotten a cocktail. Yeah. But
plus,
I'm like,
we were with the guys, so if something got put in our drink, at least we weren't like alone.
There were 4 of us, but I'm like, I have to be on a plane tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I cannot look back at this moment.
You don't want to be super hungover.
And forever hate myself and just have that plane trip be the worst experience of my life.
That. I've had a flight where I was sick. Literally I was physically ill for 3 hours on a flight.
Oh my God, that's awful. The closest I've gotten when I was flying to Colorado with Egg and some friends, towards the end of the flight, I started to get a really bad sinus headache and I started to get nauseous, and all the like pharmacies were closed. And that was before
that sucks too.
That was before I started religiously bringing sinus meds with me everywhere. That's my Windex, where I'm like, it fixes everything. Shout out my Big Fat Creek wedding if you're too young to know.
Hell yeah.
But all the pharmacies were closed, so I'm in a hotel room. I'm sharing it with Egg and our other friend Lucy, and I was in the only bathroom all night, just puking my absolute guts out. It was awful.
See, like after the flight, I was fine.
See, mine got worse, but it wasn't because of the flight. It was because I was like having this issue.
That's probably why I have so much flight anxiety now. And then it's like,
I totally believe it.
But both flights, like when we went to San Francisco, like I was fine.
Yeah.
Like they were great. We got there 10 minutes early both times.
I watched Legally Blonde.
A whole bunch of stuff. Actually, on the way down there, I did stuff for like hours for work. I listened to psychology podcasts.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Good for you.
Took like a micro nap.
I'm trying to remember why. Oh, on my way down there, I was watching horror movies. I watched The Lady in the Yard.
I kept looking over and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then the second one was Drop.
Yeah, that one looked more of a thriller.
I enjoyed both of them.
On the way back, me and Justin watched Watson, which is a TV show about like what happens to Watson after Sherlock Holmes disappears. And it was really but it's modern. It was really, really good. Highly recommend.
I like it. On the way back, I watched Legally Blonde and then A League of Their Own.
Nice.
And then Egg next to me watched A League of Their Own because a friend of ours was like giving him shit for having never seen it. And so like, that's the second time I've cried on a plane.
I love that movie.
It was great. It's actually very freeing to cry on a plane. I don't know why. I think it's because I super do not care about anyone around me.
Like, as long as you're not, like, sobbing like a small child, no one gives a shit.
Yeah, no. Because one of the last flights I was on, I was sitting next to a guy. We were both watching A Real Pain. And, like, I never looked at him, but I was just tears streaming down. And I was like, I don't care because the guy next to me fucking gets it.
Right, like, if he's not right crying, there, he at least understands.
Or if he's not upset or doesn't understand, then I need to push him out of this plane
asshole.
now.
Yeah.
He's a Nazi. So, back to my rant. That's actually on topic.
Yeah.
I really love the title of her memoir because not only is it about the trans flag, which is, I mean, Monica has done so much work for trans advocacy, but I mean, that's what we're going to remember her as. That's like her stamp. But it makes me think of the American flag. A symbol held in such high esteem that has been bastardized by far-right extremists. Americans from an early age are taught to honor the flag, pledging our allegiance to it every morning at school. But unless you adhere to the Pledge of Allegiance to liberty and justice for all, then it is a meaningless scrap of fabric. We have to care about more than the flag. It can't be about the flag. It has to be about what it stands for, what it's supposed to mean to us.
You know what's funny though? Like, actually, like I remember doing the Pledge of Allegiance when I was in Catholic school, so kindergarten through 8th grade. Don't remember like ever doing it outside of like football games in high school or college. I probably haven't said the Pledge of Allegiance outside of a sporting event since college.
I actually
since high school, probably.
K through halfway through 7th. Yeah. Pledge of Allegiance every morning. I can't remember if it was before or after morning prayer, but we also like prayed in the morning.
Yep.
We prayed before
said,
lunch.
Our Father
and then we
or something. Oh, geez. I think we only prayed once.
Oh, we prayed in the morning. We prayed at lunch before we went to lunch. And then we prayed before we were dismissed. But yeah, you're right. I don't think in public school I ever really did the pledge, but I grew up saying it.
Usually, probably like sporting events, they do the Pledge of Allegiance still.
They do the national anthem.
Or they do the national anthem.
Yeah.
I don't think I've said the Pledge of Allegiance for fucking ever.
You know what I think is super funny too? I might have talked about this. I was watching a sports game because it was just on at the gym. I was watching some sports ball, people, tight pants, balls flying everywhere. Wait, was I watching a gay porn?
Tight pants, yeah.
Was I watching a gay porn? No, but they had the national anthem, and I was always taught like you take your hat off. If you have a hat, you take it off.
Yeah, you're supposed to take it off and put it like over your heart,
or hold it down. You have your hand over your heart. And no one did. And people are on their phones and they're chatting and like no one's paying 90% of the people are not paying attention. And that's not what I took issue with because I'm like, you know what? We're all doing our thing. This performative patriotism, I'm not into it. Nope. But what I think is interesting is that when someone takes an action like kneeling because
everyone fucking freaks
they're
out.
Trying to show patriotism for people in the country who are being left out. And that move was actually recommended by a veteran of the United States military. Everyone's like, oh, you're disrespecting the flag. But when we're singing the national anthem, people are like, scrolling on Tinder or whatever. Like, it was never about the flag, was it? It was never about respecting the flag, was it? So anyway, Monica founded the Transgender American Veterans Association in 2003, serving as president until 2013. The organization sponsored the first ever trans veterans march to the wall. I assume the Vietnam Veteran Memorial Wall. I assume that's what they mean by the wall. On March 1st, 2004, it made history by becoming the first openly transgender group to lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns. Which again, it's like, they're doing all of these really honorable, like beautiful, patriotic things. And them being trans doesn't discount them from that.
Not at all.
She donated her original trans pride flag to the Smithsonian National Museum of American History on August 19th, 2014. I read that and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. I should have found it, but I do not know if it's there because there's actually a photo in the National Portrait Gallery that I saw when I was there that I know got taken down.
Yeah, so that sucks.
So, because, fucking Trump. Like,
yeah. It's
not a secret. He was very proud of it. So, but I want to go back and see if I can find that. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Monica
we can go on
we need to go on a
discovery
DC
hunt.
We need to go on a DC discovery hunt. Monica continues to advocate for trans rights, but the threats of violence and losing rights are all too real. In an interview from 2020, Monica said, quote, "We were on a path to progress before Donald Trump was elected president. He banned trans people from the military, told doctors and landlords they could discriminate against trans people. If he wins another term, Darlene and I will likely leave the country."
Yeah. I do not blame her.
In June of 2025, Monica and Darlene announced that they were planning on moving to Costa Rica, fearing anti-trans laws in Georgia.
Yeah.
First of all, Costa Rica, excellent choice. Y'all are going to love it down there. Can I bring you something? I don't know. Like, can we meet up and go snorkeling and watch whales or hike in the mountains?
Just hang out in Costa Rica.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have so many recommendations, y'all. It is critical for all of us, especially femme cisgendered women, to use our privilege to stand by and for our trans sisters. As Monica said, quote, "Being a woman has nothing to do with what's between your legs. It has everything to do with what's between your ears. If you feel that you're a woman, then you are a woman. And there's this idea that God doesn't make mistakes. Well, you're right. God doesn't make mistakes. He made us purposely this way. I mean, what I like to say is Mother Nature understands non-binary and human nature does not.
Wow.
Fucking mic drop.
Hell yeah.
And that is my special Veterans Day love letter to all veterans, women's veterans, trans, LGBTQ plus veterans, and especially Monica Helms, More Than Just a Flag.
Aww.
And now I can put this giant fucking laptop down because it hurts so much. because
it burns so good, Emily.
it doesn't burn. It's just like awkward. So because we're in the chairs now, I don't have my laptop just sitting on the desk, but I've also got like the mic right in front of me. So I like folded my laptop backwards because I can use it as a tablet, but then holding it horizontal wasn't working, so I was holding it vertical, and that was kind of. I might just use my phone next time. That was a lot.
Emily's struggling.
I constantly
find it highly amusing.
Constantly, but now I get to drink wine and listen to your story.
It's sad.
Well, fuck, Kelly. My story
There's no
wasn't
Nazis, but it's sad.
okay, I guess my story technically had Nazis.
I mean, mine is like Nazi adjacent. Not really. Okay.
Oh God.
I'm
like, my story wasn't exactly the most uplifting thing on the planet.
Your person's still alive.
Her and Darlene are alive.
Fuck
They're
yeah.
doing the Lord's work. I hope they are just so happy.
I hope they're just living it up in Costa Rica.
I really, yeah. I hope if they went to, we genuinely, when we were there this year, we were all like, so like,
should we just stay?
How could we stay here forever? How can we just
pool resources?
Not leave?
Yeah.
Like, how can we work remote here forever? It was really beautiful, and I think it's so sad that people genuinely are feel that they have to leave the country because they will be persecuted.
Yeah, it sucks.
Anyway, who are you whining about?
I am whining about Mary Clinker.
Clinker?
Clinker.
Ooh.
I don't think we've talked about this woman.
I love the last name.
You haven't heard it before?
No.
Okay,
I love the last name because she sounds like the kooky neighbor in like a children's chapter book where it's like, oh, and then old lady Clinker next door with all the cats, and she's got like the broken down tractor in her backyard that she's always working on. She's eccentric, but she's actually got like a ton of wisdom to share.
I named her the winged nurse.
Ooh, I love this.
So I too did a veteran.
Nurse Clinker.
Nurse Clinker. She sounds like someone that would help you out and then like scold you hard for getting hurt in the first place.
She's like tenderly wrapping your wound
and then
while
she's like,
scolding
why the fuck
you
did you do this?
while being like, it was
You're
really
a fucking idiot.
It was really stupid of you climbing that tree. You really could have been hurt. But like her words are
very
harsh,
tender.
but she's like taking care of you, and like she gives you like a little extra morphine because she's like, I got you.
Yeah. So Mary Therese Clinker,
Love it,
was born on October 3rd, 1947 in Lafayette, Indiana. So just a small Midwest girl. Technically Indiana's considered the Midwest.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm like, technically we are
Not exactly.
Small Midwest women too.
She was one of those people that even when she was born, she just knew she wanted to help others. She went to St. Elizabeth's Hospital School of Nursing and graduated in 1968. Smack dab in the middle of the Vietnam War.
Oh, shit. Oh my gosh. This is just going to make me think of that book, The Women, isn't it? About the female nurses in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay. I'm there. I'm immediately there.
After getting her nursing degree, Mary worked as a civilian nurse for a bit, working as a nurse at St. Elizabeth Hospital, the hospital she trained at. But apparently that wasn't enough for her. It wasn't helping people enough. So in 1969, she joined the U.S. Air Force Nurses Corps, and she completed her training at Lackland Air Force Base and would become a flight nurse, meaning she would take care of patients while in an airplane that was flying Yeah. We've talked about flight nurses before.
This reminds me of Elsie Ott.
Yep.
Except I don't think she was actually like properly trained to do what she was doing. Because I remember
I don't think so.
That episode, that her part of the episode was called Anyone More Unprepared.
Yep.
It was like, no.
Yeah. But this is a job that is terrifying. It is definitely like comes with its own unique challenges. But Mary loved it, and she quickly advanced and like became an official flight nurse assigned to the 10th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron. And by all accounts, Mary was amazing at her job. She had a reputation for being calm and capable, as well as deeply compassionate. And like she was that person that just keeps her cool even when like literally everything that like can go wrong is going wrong.
Shit's hitting the fan.
Yeah. And she's just like, we got this. Don't worry about
it. There's shit that hits the fan when you work in an office, and then there's when everything goes wrong when you're in a war zone.
On an airplane.
It's very
with
different.
Wounded people.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she would be stationed at the Clark Air Force Base in the Philippines with the 10th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron that she was with. And basically during this time, she was helping transport wounded soldiers out of combat zones and making sure they actually survived the trip.
Jesus Christ.
It was during this time that she was promoted to the rank of captain. So she's actually Captain
Fuck
Mary
yeah.
Clinker.
Captain Clinker. Oh my gosh, that's an amazing name.
And she would also at this time begin instructing other nurses and doing flight examinations and like all of this stuff that really highlighted not only her compassion, but her ability for leadership and like teaching as well. So in general, flight nurses during the Vietnam War era faced constant danger. Like they were working under fire, stabilizing patients midair, transporting wounded soldiers as well as wounded civilians. And it was this weird intersection of like military duty and humanitarian aid.
So something that they talk about in the book, The Women, that medical personnel would actually go into villages and offer medical aid to civilians, like Vietnamese civilians.
Okay, that's cool.
Which I thought was very interesting, and like
Yeah.
obviously the language barrier was an issue, but you know it's like
Well, and trying to probably get them to understand like we're not here to murder you.
Well, and I'm sure it was a case by case basis, but there is a scene in that book where they go to this village and they're trying to help. I think it's a little girl who's really sick, and she like gives them a rock as a gift, and it's like very precious. Seriously, I'm just going to say it so I don't have to say it again. If you haven't read The Women, read it. And it's going to hurt you. Okay? The book is going to hurt you.
Like in a good way or in a bad way?
If you get to the end, it's all going to be worth it. I'm just going to say that. The end is going to make it all worth it. And it is fascinating.
Yeah.
That it was a recommendation by Caitlin Calgara of A Tour of Her Own. I read it while I was in DC, and I kept texting her randomly where I was like, if one more fucking person says there were no women in Vietnam, I'm going to just fucking go ape shit in this airport right now. Because that was something, that this woman, she serves as a nurse in Vietnam. She comes back and people keep being like, you're not a veteran. Women weren't in Vietnam. And she's like, I fucking was. There were so many of us. If you didn't see a woman in Vietnam, that means you weren't hurt bad enough to like see a nurse, So really, really good. Highly recommend. Everyone should read it. The ending is good. The ending is very good.
Is it?
It is.
Is it?
It absolutely is. It is actually good. I cannot overstate that. It's a good ending. This book is going to fuck with you. And the emotional roller coaster I was on, I'm surprised that no one pulled me aside at the airport.
Because there was ma'am, are you okay?
Because I was making all the faces out loud. I was rolling, I was shaking my head, and I was mouthing like motherfucker. And then on the plane, and it was
you get pulled aside and like talked to by security.
yeah. No,
like,
they you know what? Privilege of being a little white girl. Okay, I can be rolling my eyes, shaking my head violently, and mouthing "God damn it, motherfucker" in an airport, and no one cares.
Yeah. So
But yeah, it's really good. Highly recommend.
More broadly, flight nurses in general during the Vietnam War became lifelines for the aeromedical evacuations that they were doing quite often during the time. And they often served as the highest ranking medical personnel aboard transport aircrafts, overseeing the care and the safe evacuation of wounded soldiers from combat zones. To hospitals across Asia and the United States. Despite being officially classified as non-combatants, they were still trained with weapons and faced real risks on missions that exposed them to hostile fire and hazardous conditions. Their presence also offered a psychological boost for most patients who often found comfort in the nurses' care during chaotic and painful journeys, and they are recognized as veterans today.
100%.
Just want to say that even though they're classified as non-combatants, they are recognized as veterans.
Absolutely.
So fast forward to April 1975. And this is kind of where things get intense and sad. So
don't do this to me.
The Vietnam War is reaching its final and most chaotic phase in April 1975. The North Vietnamese forces capture Saigon, marking the end of the war and the collapse of South Vietnam. Amid the panic and humanitarian crisis, the U.S. launched emergency evacuations to rescue American personnel and vulnerable South Vietnamese civilians. The U.S. was pulling out of Vietnam, Saigon was falling, and it was chaos. People were desperate to get out before the North Vietnamese forces took over, and this is when President Gerald Ford announced what is known as Operation Baby Lift.
Oh, I know this.
So for people who haven't heard of it, Emily has. Operation Baby Lift was a massive humanitarian evacuation effort organized by the U.S. government. It was in order to evacuate over 2,000 children, many of whom were presumed to be orphans in orphanages or like children's homes from Saigon specifically. The goal was to fly them out of Vietnam, many of them being mixed race or stuff like that, facing uncertain futures in the hands of the North Vietnamese, out of the country to the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia for asylum and hopefully eventually adoption.
If you're a 90s baby who grew up with Hey Arnold, the Christmas episode where you learn about Mr. Han's like tragic backstory where he's escaping war and he lifts his baby for the soldier to take on that's what that's based off of. Oh. Yeah, that was Operation Baby Drop. And then he's reunited with her and it was like really emotional.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that was Hey Arnold did not fuck around, man.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like South Park had an episode where they talked about something like similar, but obviously it wasn't as emotional.
I'm like, the episode of Hey Arnold, that was really emotional.
You're like crying, and I'm like,
South Park.
Anyways, so the mission was like very controversial, because obviously they didn't know if all the children were orphans or not, and so there was a lot of headlines at the time that was baby lift or baby snatch. So the first flight of the operation was going to be on a Lockheed C-5A Galaxy cargo plane.
Oh no. Sorry, I think I just... No spoilers.
And this was going to be crewed with the Air Force, medical staff, and volunteers. One of those volunteers is Mary. She wasn't ordered to go. She truly did actually volunteer for the mission. She had heard about it, like, through the military grapevine, and she decided, no, I want to help these children get out safely. So nurses such as Mary so this is the first mission. She's on the first mission. They would go in, they prepared the infants and toddlers in the makeshift orphanages for the journey. One nurse would describe the scene as, quote, a sea of babies lying on mats, crying, cooing, playing, like just being babies. They would be dressed in like lace and often like patent leather shoes that were like made by their Vietnamese caretakers. And so like they as weird as that sounds, they packed all the babies up.
They loaded them up.
No, literally. So again, the nurse said they carried, quote, about 25 cardboard boxes holding 2 to 3 babies apiece. I think it's so that, like, because they can't, like, strap them in on the plane anywhere, but they can strap a box down.
I think also...
They're probably, like, open top boxes.
They're not, like...
No, they just cut holes in them, like, you know.
Hey, did you punch holes in this box? Is there babies? Jesus Christ. But, I mean, just also, like, if you're transporting a lot of kids, okay, one person can maybe carry 2 kids at once, okay, safely. If this is a war, you know, you're trying to get these kids, a ton of kids moving very quickly. You know, you can fit 3 or 4 babies in a box and carry them. And it's actually a lot easier. You know, it's like when we would transport babies to the playground, we had strollers that were like 3 wide, and then like a teacher's pushing the stroller and holding a baby, and then another teacher's got like a couple of babies. Maybe there are some kids that can walk, but we had time and we were not under fire.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's different.
And we had the supplies because we were a daycare and we weren't the US military suddenly trying to wrangle thousands of infants and toddlers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Oh, those poor like that just must have been so
horrible.
Like, I've had kids that were dropped off at daycare for the first time, and it's fun colors, and there's Disney music playing, and there's toys everywhere, and they lose their fucking minds. I cannot imagine a scenario like this.
Right? Wouldn't it be awful?
There are definitely toddlers throwing hands.
So once all the children and babies were boarded, the mission crew recalls the fear as they all like board. Quote, "We took our seats for takeoff and the true terror began. Would we make it off the ground? Would we be shot down?" You know, because this is still an active war zone.
Well, and they've faced this fear multiple times, obviously, but now they have
children and
tiny
babies.
Children on board. Like that's just gotta, because not that I think the fear would ever really go away, but you become acclimated to it. And now it's like, hey, remember that baseline that you had accepted?
Yeah.
It's
different now.
We're cranking it up, and that baseline was already ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is
horrible.
This is so fucking I hate this. I fucking hate this.
Yep.
I had to drive a van at kids one day, and I was so stressed. I was like, what if I get in a fender bender or something?
Yeah. So just minutes after takeoff from the Tan Son Tut airport, the plane suffered catastrophic mechanical failure. So they weren't shot down, but it was horrible. The rear cargo door blew open midair, damaging critical control systems and making the plane rapidly lose pressure. The pilots tried desperately to turn back into land, but they lost control and crash landed in a rice field about 2 miles from the airport. The impact of the crash was horrific. And in the chaos, Mary remained in the cargo hold caring for an unconscious medic that had been like hurt when the door blew open. When on impact, the aircraft broke apart during its crash, and she and all of those in the lower decks were killed. Mary was 27 years old at the time of the crash. Despite the crash, first of all, I guess the aircraft carried 314 people, including 145 children,
Jesus,
medical staff, and crew. Of those, 138 died, including Mary. She was one of 7 medical attendants on board. And despite this crash, hundreds of children and crew members survived. Many of those survivors credit the medical staff, including Mary, on board for helping them stay calm and safe during those terrifying moments. Mary died doing exactly what she dedicated her life to do, caring for others. She was remembered for her courage and compassion in her final moments. Mary was the last nurse to die in the Vietnam War conflict and the only member of the Air Force Nurse Corps to be killed.
So I remember I was reading about Operation Baby Drop. Like I saw it in exhibits and stuff in DC. And I did hear there was one plane crash and children
It happened
did
to be
die.
the first one.
Yep. It was early on. All of the others were successful.
Yep. Yeah.
There were no mechanical failures. No one was shot down. But once you started talking about this, I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
You know, it's so when I was in DC, I went to the Vietnam Wall, and it was Memorial Day.
Yeah.
So they were obviously having a big ceremony. It was very emotional. I had a guy ask, like, I was looking for Sharon, who I covered. She was the only woman killed in Vietnam due to enemy combatants.
Yeah.
She was obviously not the only woman who was killed.
There are 8 listed on the Vietnam Wall. I talk about that. Yeah.
Yep. And so I was looking for her name in particular. And there was a man there who was asking me, like, oh, you know what? Why are you looking for? Why are you interested? And actually, his father was in the same row as her.
Really?
Yeah, and his father died in Vietnam before he was born.
Oh wow!
Just like really, and so he's sharing all these people are sharing stories, and we're all talking, and you know, he asks me, he's like, so why are you here? And I just kind of like, I didn't know how to respond. I'm looking at the wall and I'm like, well, you know, I have this podcast and I covered, you know, her. And I started crying. I just started kind of breaking down.
Aww.
Because it was like, First of all, the emotions there were overwhelming in a really beautiful way, but very intense. And then also I felt a little, I'm like, well, I've got a podcast and I did a story about this woman and I just wanted to find her. But, you know, your dad's up here. There are people, you know,
it's different.
Their parents, their brothers, their you know, it's just, it really brought it home in a way that I was not expecting.
Oh.
But it was, and so I kind of like trailed off because I was like, there's no answer that I can give right now.
That feels like it's enough.
Or that's gonna like make any fucking sense. And I just started like getting really emotional and crying and I just kind of let it go. and he, God bless him, he let it go. Because he saw I was getting emotional. I was like, man, just Christ. It was, but everyone was so helpful. Like I was looking for her and, you know, they were like, oh, it's up here and, you know, this row. And they were helping me navigate the wall and they had these little slips of paper and pencils so you could do a shaving.
Oh, really?
You put the paper over the name and then you kind of like shade the pencil over the name and it makes an imprint. So I still have Sharon Lane. Sorry, I was blanking on the last name. I think Sharon A. Lane was her name.
Oh.
So I have that. And now we have to go back and find Mary Clinker.
Yeah.
And we have to cover the other 6.
Yeah. So the U.S. Air Force recognized Mary's sacrifice with 2 posthumous honors, the Airman's Medal for Heroism and the Meritorious Service Medal. There is also a historical marker outside the Central Catholic High School, which was her high school she went to.
So she definitely said the Pledge of Allegiance every day.
Oh, yeah. So she is listed on panel O2W, line 122 of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., one of just 8 women whose names appear there. 8 out of more than 58,000 names. It's wild to think about how few women are remembered in connection with the Vietnam War, even though hundreds served, if not more, as nurses, clerks, aid workers, and faced the same dangers as the men. Mary's story is a reminder that heroism doesn't always come with a weapon or a uniform. Sometimes it comes with compassion, courage, and a stethoscope. Maybe some needles, too. And as really Emily mentioned, Operation Baby Lift continued. Despite the crash, hundreds of flights would continue to actually make it, and over 3,000 children were safely evacuated. Mary's sacrifice didn't stop the mission, it actually fueled it. To this day, veterans and adoptees from Operation Baby Lift still honor Mary's memory. There's even a nursing scholarship in her name to continue her legacy. So next time someone talks about the Vietnam and talks only about the men, the generals, and the politicians, make sure you raise your glass to Mary, the nurse who volunteered to fly straight into the heart of chaos just to bring people out of it, and who saved countless lives. I have dubbed her. I don't remember what I said.
The nurse with wings.
The nurse with wings.
Or the winged nurse.
The winged nurse. I like the nurse with wings. Either one's fine.
So just because of who I am and what we do on this podcast, when I was at the Vietnam Memorial, there were a lot of people were laying down tributes and pictures and, things like this where it was, like their service picture and then like a biography of them and how they, and so every time I saw a woman, I took a picture because I was like, I want to remember this for later. None of the women that I took pictures of were Mary. So we've got pictures of all of these other women who we have not covered.
Yeah.
And then let me see.
Yeah, I thought about not covering her because I was like, this is just so sad. But I was like, no, this deserves...
It is really sad, but I think it's so important.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I could have sworn I took a picture of Sharon's name on the wall. Maybe it was also really crowded. It might have been a little... It was also really high up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like not so high I couldn't reach, but it was tall. Well, Kelly, now that you have devastated me and a pug has entered the room.
Yo, ghost pug.
Do we have the Book of Being Brave? Where the hell did that end up?
I don't know where that ended up.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's go back to
Might be up there. Yeah, it's right there. Justin, grab the last book in the stack. Nope, other last book.
Far left.
The one
or far right. Far right. Sorry.
100 Days of...
Yeah, that one. Justin wants me to order pizza.
I don't hate that.
Emily can read it.
Yeah. All right. So where are we? Well, I know what I'm thankful for if we went back to that. Pizza. Did we already do day 19 have faith?
I don't know.
What does it mean to actually believe in Ruby Rubin? What is faith? Faith is being sure and convinced.
I don't think so. That doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, okay. Day 19, have faith. What does it mean to actually believe in Ruby Rubin? What is faith?
Right?
What is faith, man?
I feel like we need something to smoke.
Oh my God. That is a great... Can you imagine reading this book high? That would actually be really fun. I'm just saying.
Maybe one day.
Faith is being sure and convinced. Sometimes it's hard to feel sure. So what do you do if you want to have faith or you want more faith and you're not sure how to get it? Ask Ruby Rubin to fill you with faith. Faith in her promises, faith in her ways.
Ooh.
And then use the assurance welling up in your heart to fight off the lies of the enemy. Ooh, okay. This is
like
hot.
that.
This is hot. Who's the enemy?
The patriarchy.
The enemy is so good at lying, isn't he? You know you have an enemy, right? A legit enemy who has no good thoughts towards you or for you. Yes, the patriarchy. He's been lying since the Garden of Eden. Fucking patriarchy. When he convinced Eve that Ruby Rubin wasn't really true or trustworthy. Okay, but also, like, you need to explain, like, appropriate boundaries to children and why those boundaries are there and, like, not be a dick when they don't listen. And that's the same lie that he whispers to us. Lies like, you can't trust Ruby Rubin. Your faith is weak. Do you even have faith? When Satan Ooh, hello, Satan. When Satan pushes your buttons and makes you doubt Ruby Rubin's word or Ruby Rubin's love for you, what's the first brave move? So I'm going to replace Satan with the patriarchy.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Valid.
I feel like it feels like it's more in theme. So when the patriarchy pushes your buttons and makes you doubt Ruby Rubin's word or her love for you, what is your first brave move? Hold up the shield of faith and feminine badassery that you hold over your heart, meant to protect you from the arrows of the enemy. Just believe, it isn't always easy. In fact, it rarely is, but the good stuff is never cheap. Except wine. There's some good cheap wine out there.
Yeah, there is.
And what happens to your soul on the other side of a fight for faith is the good stuff. Your next brave move? Fix your eyes on Jesus. Pod Jesus, who is the pioneer and perfecter. I was like, prefecture. That can't be right. Perfecter of your faith. When doubt clouds your mind and faith doesn't come easily, remember that she considered it a joy to endure the cross because of her great love for you. And she will help you grow in faith. Be sure of this. When you ask Ruby Rubin to increase your faith, she will. Be brave. Okay, it's telling me to download a song, Matt Wirtz's song, Keep Faith, and put it on repeat for a day.
No, thanks.
Yeah, okay, this chapter wasn't super strong. So I'm just going to take it from here and make it my own thing. So people are going to tell you you're not worthy, you can't do things, blah, 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 from a gendered point of view. Obviously,
right.
People are going to tell you your experiences aren't valid from a gendered point of view. Yeah, they're fucking lying. And to fight off those constant messages that ask you to doubt yourself, that ask you to deny your own strength, it's hard.
Yeah,
and
it is brave to stand up against them.
It's brave to stand up against them. It's brave to love yourself and believe in yourself. And also, when you have a hard time summoning that strength within yourself, I think it's so important to lean on the support around you, whether it's other women around you, trusted friends, a therapist, like
anyone.
Turn to the people who validate you, who support you, and who want you to succeed, because they're the ones whose voices matter.
Yeah.
That's my feminist take on it.
I agree.
Taking out, pushing Ruby Rubin, Satan aside for a moment, and just making it all about feminism.
Well, even just not even a feminism, just like about true finding yourself.
Yeah, I mean, in general.
You don't need to listen to what anyone else feels about you other than yourself.
Yeah. From a gender perspective, from a sexuality perspective, from a personal perspective, if people are telling you you're too old to have favorite dinosaurs, well,
fuck them.
You need to
Everyone
find
has a
the
favorite
strength
dinosaur.
if they don't, you don't have time for them. Find the strength in yourself to loudly proclaim your favorite dinosaurs.
If people tell you you're not a serious history podcast, be like, yeah, it's in the description, bitch.
It's like, yeah, I know what we are, and I love it. 6 years later.
Mic drop.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Whining About Herstory. Like us on Facebook at Whining About Herstory, Instagram at WAHPad.
Our website is whiningaboutherstory.com, where you can find a link to all of the things Emily just mentioned, as well as our merchandise. Our link to our Buy Me a Coffee, which you can sponsor a glass of wine for $5 or an entire bottle for $15. Well, we'll find some way to connect it to you or take your recommendation. You can also join our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, where soon we will have a thing where Emily gets me drunk and makes me talk about Greek gods from a hat.
I again, every time you talk about it, you're like, Emily's making
so
me
many
do
regrets.
this.
I mean, you kind of are, but
okay.
like, it's for the people. So
it was
it's okay.
your idea. I
just mentioned that I liked Greek gods, and you were like, this is a thing we could do. We're doing this.
Okay, if only we had it recorded somewhere.
We do.
To learn the truth.
Someone go back and listen to it.
It would not be a serious thing we were doing if you had not agreed to it.
Yeah.
So
I'm allowed to have yogurts.
You can have all the yogurts you want. The yogurts.
Yogurts. So
you-
we're now
get
adding
you that-
yogurt to this party.
Get you
apparently.
that Jamie Lee Curtis pooping yogurt, everyone. Also, rate us 5 stars
Jesus.
wherever you listen because, like the trans pride flag, it pisses off all the right people. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Whiny About Herstory.
We love you.
I'm Emily.
I'm Kelly.
Have an empowered day. And you know what? Thanks, vets.
Yeah,
We appreciate you.
We do so much.
Yeah.
All of you.
All of you. Y'all means all, y'all. Liberty and justice for y'all,
Y'all.
bitches. Yeah. Kelly, which one of us is reaching for the button right now? Because I don't know what to do.
Oh, we never said our names again, so I didn't realize we were done.
No, I'm Emily.
I'm Kelly.
Have an empowered day. Bye. Did I completely forget?
We didn't do
shit.
the bye.
Shit, I got so distracted.